I woke up and also awakened to my fingers arguing about who was the most productive yesterday. I thought carefully and a little cautiously too. After consideration, I decided to vote for my thumb. Why? Because I felt incredibly handsome yesterday when I gave a thumbs up to a telemarketer after she asked me if I was interested in buying some free air from her company. I was not sure about the purchase, but when she said the air works not only with my nose but also my mouth, well, I couldn't say no. Then I heard strangers yelling outside in the summer heat. I jumped and also leaped out of my bed as well as my mattress to help the two strangers. I grabbed 2 glasses of ice water, ran out the house and poured the 2 glasses of water over my own head to help me focus on the argument more. After listening to them arguing, I offered them turns at scratching my itchy elbow to keep the peace. I heard 2 dogs barking at each other. I laid down between them and barked back to keep the peace. I seen a crowd of people holding up signs and demanding change. I gave them coins out of my piggy bank to keep the peace. I went to a nightclub in my pajamas and shut off the DJ's equipment. Why? To keep the peace. I once died and came back to life because I got fired as a ghost for refusing to scream, "Boo!" I told my ghost supervisor that screaming at people so late at night went against my beliefs to keep the peace. I returned a puzzle to my friend who was angry when he tried to complete it and called me about a missing piece. I told him I'm sorry, bro. I truly am. But I decided to keep the peace, then hung up. I work partly full-time at a library as a security guard to keep the peace. I walk around with 2 fingers up because I dedicated my life to keeping the peace. I went to a waterfall, not for the views but to tell it to please stop the falling water from sounding so loud, and asked it to keep the peace. I heard a wolf howling at the moon. I gave an astronaut a pack of gum, some butter out of my grandmother's fridge, and a selfie of me in hopes it would convince him to leave a letter on the moon that said, "A half moon is okay, but try not to be a full moon anymore, so that wolves will quit howling and keep the peace." When I tip, I never tell them to keep the change. I tell them to keep the peace. I got a divorce and instructed my lawyer to make sure I can keep my socks and deodorant that I owned before the marriage, but my wife can keep the peace. I used to work part-time 7 days a week 24/7 as a defense attorney. I would tell the judge, "My client is innocent. They were only at the scene of the crime to keep the peace." I never lost a case. I'm currently working on a music album called To Keep the Peace. Every song will be completely silent with a bonus track of me saying, "Shh." I'm going to end my story now. I need silence. I need to keep the peace.